Earth, the beautiful planet we live on, is inhabited by 7 billion humans. This large population of humans live on land, which accounts for 30% of the planet's surface area. The other 70% is accounted for by the ocean. Earth's oceans are home to 80% of the life on the planet, and is the largest food source in the world as it makes up for nearly 20% of the population's daily protein diet. This natural resource provides us with 150 million tons of fish every year. As time goes on and the world population begins to increase, the demand for fish produce will increase as well. Unfortunately, this has a negative effect on the environment as it causes fish populations to diminish and aquatic ecosystems to collapse. This environmental issue is known as overfishing.
Overfishing is defined as the harvesting of fish to an extent at which the population cannot replenish itself through natural reproduction. If overfishing is a non-sustainable use of the ocean, why is it so widely practiced? Fishing allows for the gradual development of economic stability. As many more people over the last 20 years have started eating fish, it has increased the need and attributes to overfishing. With more and more companies being set up for overfishing, there will be more sources of income, which results in more taxes for the local government. Aside from that, exportation of seafood products will also do good for any country as it provides more work and more income for the government.
In addition to building the economy, overfishing helps feed the masses by meeting the demand for the larger population. By introducing new species of marine life to the people, the public has more food choices. For example, shark fin soup is a new cuisine introduced into Chinese culture.
Another significant advantage of this commercial practice is that it allows for the efficient removal of invasive species in the form of bycatch. When fisheries cast out deep-sea trawls, large quantities of unwanted species are removed from the ocean. For example, this can be seen in the excess removal of crustaceans.
The flip side of this global issue presents the negative impacts of overfishing. Many of the fish targeted in overfishing processes are consumed by humans and are also consumed by predator species. By depleting certain populations of fish through overfishing, other species lack food resources and begin to die off. This is all caused by the disruption in the food chain.
An additional negative effect of overfishing is that it can lead to the exploitation of non-fishing zones. Because fishing companies need to fulfill the growing demand for fish and other seafood, they will be forced to fish beyond areas that are supposed to be non-fishing zones. This is because they will have a depleted supply in certain areas.
Lack of food security is another example of the negative effects presented by overfishing. Coastal communities around the world depend on fish as their primary source of protein. Overfishing threatens their long-term food security, particularly in developing countries.
Overfishing may have offered short-term solutions to our food shortage problem, as well as unemployment in some areas, but its long-term effects are far more worse and much more alarming. We believe that overfishing is a bad practice.
This is because overfishing creates a lack of food security. For example, developing countries on the coast of Africa like Kenya and Tanzania heavily depend on fish. Local communities use fish like tuna and shrimp found on their coastline as a source of food and a way to improve their economy. But due to overfishing, local communities are losing access to the fish population that they greatly need.
Furthermore, overfishing causes disruptions in the food chain. For example, recent studies suggest that overfishing of large shark species has had a ripple effect on the shark's food chain, increasing the number of species such as rays that are usually prey for large sharks. This results in the declining stocks of smaller fish and shellfish favored by these species.
Lastly, overfishing causes the exploitation of non-fishing zones. This greatly affects the ecosystem as well as the balance of wildlife in the environment. For example, marine protected areas called no-take zones are invaded due to overfishing. The depletion of fish species in a designated fishing area can lead to fishing boats being allowed into areas where coral reefs are situated, which will greatly damage ecosystems.